Before I bought this rifle, I was trying to find information on what sort of ammo works well with it. And to be fair, there is a ton of information out there. Now, what is this? Well, this is the Ruger Precision Rimfire with an Arkin EP5. It's got a UTG bipod, and I bought it used, and I did not clean the barrel, so just FYI. And as I said, there's a lot of information on different types of ammo that work well or not so well with this rifle. The problem is that most of it is at 50 yards, and especially with supersonic ammo in 22 LR, there's a problem with that. And that is that it, by 100 yards, if you're planning on shooting it farther than 50 yards, it's going subsonic, usually around 70 yards or so. So between 50 and 100. And why does this matter? Well, it's going to affect the accuracy of the bullet. And actually, I made some drawings because I'm high tech here. Essentially, what happens is you're going supersonic. There's a pressure wave towards the front of the boat, or not the boat, but the front of the bullet and the back. And it actually mirrors what happens in a boat in a similar way. And as you go transonic, so as you get closer to the speed of sound, it starts to shift, and the pressure wave moves more towards the back. And finally, when it goes subsonic, you've got the pressure wave in the back, much more so. And that means that the force of the air is actually pushing in different spots on the bullet as it's transitioning. And let's see here. Yeah, so the pressure wave is closer to the base. And this is actually a similar analogy, and I mentioned it just a second ago as a Freudian slip, is, grab the wrong sheet, is a boat. So when you're going fast, if you've ever been on a boat, the nose is up, and the wake isn't really affecting you so much. The wake is actually behind the boat. And all of those waves are kind of, those little ripples are all pushed together into a wake. And as you start to slow down, if you slow down enough on the boat, eventually the wake catches up to you and it hits the back of the boat. And when that happens, it kind of pushes the nose up. Well, the same thing sort of happens with a bullet. Not exactly, because obviously that's more of a two-dimensional plane with a boat. And with a bullet, it's all the way around. Now there's imperfections in the bullet and stuff like that, and so the air is going to push it more where that imperfection is in a little bit. And besides that, it's pushing on the back rather than front. It changes where the nose is pointing maybe just a little bit, and it affects the accuracy. So testing ammo, if you're planning on shooting it farther than 50 yards, then you have to test that ammo at farther than 50 yards, because if it's supersonic, it's going to change the impact point and cause some inaccuracy. People say it destabilizes the bullet. Well, not exactly, but that's a shorthand of saying it. And so I just tested some results here. So I was at the range. It was about 87 degrees. There was this 13-mile-an-hour crosswind. It was almost perfect crosswind, but there's a bit of a ridge that was blocking most of it, not at the beginning and not at the end, right where I was and then where the target was. And I tested a few different CCI ammos, and then the Federal Auto Match, which actually is pretty precise. It's probably one of the most accurate out of that gun at 50 yards and under. It's amazing, and it's super cheap. So it was kind of cool. But as you move out, we start to see things open up. So this is at 100 yards, again, with the crosswind and all of that. The group was 3 inches, 3.175 inches. And you can see this, it's more this way. So it's possible the wind was affecting it a little bit more than I would want. And I was also shooting really fast because I was kind of out of time. Then we have the CCI Mini Mags, the varmint version, which is 36 grains and is going at 1,280, 1,290 feet per second. Ignore this up here. I was just I had my dope all wrong and it kind of went all over the place. But this is it right here, and it was 2.1 inches, which was pretty impressive. And again, a lot of spread across this way. So I think it was affected by the wind. And then it gets really good and really bad. So I've got CCI mini mags up here, but the Target edition, they're copper plated 40 grains. And they were all over the place. In fact, I didn't even get the 10 shot group all on the paper. So you've got it going all the way across here. You got one here, and it's missing two. So who knows if it went this way, up? No idea whatsoever. And that was, as it is on the paper, it was like 5.5 inches. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Now I was shooting a little bit faster than I wanted to on this one, so it's possible some of that was me. Possible some of it's the wind. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely not using that stuff. And then shooting something that's already subsonic at 100 yards made all the difference. So this is a CCI standard velocity. It shoots at around 1070, which is below the speed of sound. And if it wasn't for me pulling this little shot right here at the very bottom, it was, well, with that one, it was 1.7 inches. Without that one, if I hadn't pulled that one, it would have been 1.3 inches. So you can see the difference, that airflow is actually affecting the bullet as it shifts. So if you shoot, you want it to stay supersonic as far as possible, or at least hit the target, or as close to the target as possible. So long range shooting with other cartridges and stuff like that, same principle is going to apply. You want it supersonic if it starts supersonic. If it's not supersonic, you want it to stay. Obviously, it's not going to rise above supersonic, but start subsonic, hit subsonic, start supersonic, hit supersonic, and that's the principle. And doing that with that rifle, the Ruger Rimfire Precision, my best result of the ammo that I tested was definitely standard velocity. So that's what I would recommend you do if you want to shoot farther than 70 yards. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and any of my other videos, just like, subscribe. It helps the channel, and hopefully eventually I'll get monetized, but you know how YouTube is with firearms right now. Maybe they'll stop being socialists. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.